Ladies and gentlemen, it is officially over. There's just too much competition in the world of podcasting. Um, Without any context, I just want to go ahead and pull this one up, and we're all gonna take a look, and we're gonna see why we're screwed. Have a look here.
AJ and Big Justice Show live. We are back. You know, we got some very special guests here at the table. Of course, we got the Essential Guy Talk guys here. We got Jersey Joe over here.
250 people on Twitch.
Bring the boom on Twitch. 500 on Twitch. Let's bring the boom. Oh, we got the galaxy over here. Somebody's pregnant over here with the boom. All right. Whoa, guys, where's Jersey Joe? Jersey Joe bringing the boom. Rizzler, open them up, give them a try. Let's give it a boom or a doom.
No, I'm the youngest. Come on, guys.
Excuse
Guys.
you? Can't disrespect Rizzler like that.
Bring in the boom. Let's go. It is the AJ.
You can't compete with that. How are you supposed to compete with that? It is impossible to compete with that family. They have a chokehold, an absolute chokehold on everything that is good. And if you think that you can come up with something better, you're wrong. There's a lot wrong with that, though, in my opinion. I mean, look, where'd they come from? Where did they fit? Where did the Boom or Doom, the Costco guys, where the hell did they come from? And where did the Rizzler come from? I grew up in the wrong generation. Like, I play a lot of video games, but it seems like these kids got it figured out. I don't know where Rizzler came from, but there's a lot of kids that are famous now for just chilling in their room with the camera on and not, whipping their dicks out. Just playing games and shit. Being a kid, doing normal shit. I missed the fucking ball on that one. But what the hell? How are you supposed to compete with the Costco guys at this point? If you have aspirations into getting, becoming some sort of social media mogul, getting out there, getting sponsorships, doing all that stuff, you have to have this level of success. You got to have Costco deals. You got to have your own show with the whole studio set up now. They got it all going on. You got Big Justice talks like this. Does he really talk like that? I know the dad. I mean, the dad kind of maybe. I don't know. They seem special in the head, but like even Rizzler's now, he's got his own catchphrase. Excuse me. Like that was kids a natural star. Some kids just got it. And it's the perfect representation of the current state of America. We have two kids who are overweight, and then we got a father who is just like, will do anything to be famous. It's clear that this guy wants to be as famous as possible, and he's just taking his kids along for the ride, or his kids are dragging him along for the ride. I can't wait to see where the Costco guys are now. Like 30 years from now, like a really long time. I want to see them like, how old, I don't know how old Big Justice is, whatever. He looks like he's, maybe like 16, 15, something like that, teen. I would love to see him when he's like 30 something to see where that got him. The predictable route for the Costco guys is for them all to commit suicide, right? That's the unfortunate, predictable route. I mean, just look at either suicide or lose your mind, because that's where all like the Disney child stars and Nickelodeon child stars went. With their careers, they end up either going completely insane or killing themselves or getting molested in some way. Would anybody ask yourself, really be honest, ask yourself, would you be surprised if you found out that Big Justice was being touched by his dad there, whatever he goes by? He's like, Justice, we got to do a video today. Dad, I don't want to. I just was going to go hang out with the weekends. We had the day off. You're going to get in here now and you're going to do the video with me, or else you're going to get the boom. I wonder how many times they said boom. But they were on, I think they were on Fallon. It looked like Fallon couldn't stand him. But I mean, just it's so remarkable, and I'm not jealous. I mean, look, they got the whole setup going there, and the home with the Shure mics. The Riz. How old is the Rizzler? And the Riz stuff for him. Listen, Riz, I'm telling you right now, it's not gonna work. It's not gonna go on so long for you with this rizzing. I mean, he opens up the bag of chips here, like he doesn't like the chips. You like the chips. You like the chips. He likes the chips. We all know that the Rizzler likes the chips. And here's another clip of them right here. Let's check this one out.
AJ and Big Justice show.
We bring the boom. That's what we.
They don't know what you mean by the mother of Big Justice. They want to know if we're together.
Is that the mom?
Yeah, for what, 25 years?
The Coca-Cola Oreo gets a big boom. Boom. The protein.
I know what's going on here. I know what's going on here.
Are we sure?
This is fantastic. All they do is eat food. They're all pretty big. Even the dad's like, he's got a boom, like, he's got a big arm or whatever. It looks like he lifts, but like he hasn't ran in a while. He can, drop a few lbs. But here's what's going on here. All they do is review food. So we're in a turn right now. There's a turn in society where we're starting to catch on to the seed oils not being good. People are trying to eat healthier and to some degree. The country's morbidly obese. We're going really downhill. Health epidemic. They're getting money from big food. Mark my words. They're getting money from big food. The Oreo company called them. Who owns Oreo? Let's get down to nitty gritty here, baby. This is what we do on the Juice Boys podcast. Who owns Oreo? Let's check it out. Mondelez International. Oreo brand has been owned by Mondelez since 2012. According to Mondelez, it takes 2 hours to make and bake one Oreo cookie. The company operates factories in 18 countries. All right. Because I'm getting this because they pulled out the Oreo. The Coca-Cola Oreo cookie gets a big boom. So somebody from, Mondelez called them. And he's like, you Costco guys are really killing it out there. We'll love to sponsor your show, the Boom or Doom show, but we're gonna send you some products, and we would really love to get your review. And oh yeah, by the way, if you say anything bad about the Oreo cookie, we're gonna pull the funding. So you enjoy those cookies now, okay? That's how it is. That's how it is. Because it's clear that, man, if I was this age, I'd be taking fucking $50,000 to eat the Oreo cookie and say it's good. Like, yeah, sure. I don't know how much longer this Boom or Doom is gonna last, so I might as well just put it away while I can and sell my soul early. Just really get into it. So that's my hunch. That's my hunch. The Costco boys are working for big food. They're on the way to big food. And so if they don't have the Disney star route, if they don't have the route of dying a tragic death, then they will just eat themselves to death with the chicken bakes and the what's the other one? The double chunk chocolate cookie. I mean, sometimes I feel like I lose brain cells watching them, and then most of the time, I'm mesmerized. I don't think nobody knows how to explain what it's like watching the Costco boys. I mean, they came out of nowhere. They came at it. Next thing I know, they're on my feet. Double chunk chocolate cookie. How old is this guy doing this stuff? Why? What are we doing? What are we doing out there? If you're not sitting in front of your phone being an idiot, then you're missing out. You're missing out. You got to sit in front of the phone. You either have to get naked in front of the phone or you got to do something completely embarrassing in front of the phone. This is some look, if they weren't as big as they are and they only had like a couple thousand subscribers and they weren't having a show and everything and clearly getting sponsors, somebody editing their stuff, this would be his wife would be like, "Hon, like what are you doing? Hon, like Big Justice, what are you doing? When is this gonna end?" "Honey, I swear, if I just keep saying double chunk chocolate cookie, they're gonna give me the money. I know it. I can feel it." Hun, you've been doing this for 5 years now. It's over. It's over. And if you don't cut the shit, I'm gonna have to take the kids and leave. Big Big Justice wants to go to college, and you're blowing all the money at Costco. "Honey, it's gonna be all right. Now, what do you think is better, the double chunk chocolate cookie or the chicken bake?" It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. But good for the Costco guys. I mean, again, like I only respect it. You can only respect it. You can't be a hater of the Costco boys. I mean, it's just really an extraordinary group of people, and if you really think about it, let me see this one more time. I got to see this one more time. I can't get enough of these boys. Check this out.
Big Justice Show Live. We are back. You know, we got some very special guests here at the table. Of course, we got the Essential Guy Talk guys here. We got Jersey Joe over here. Bring the boom on Twitch. 500 on Twitch. Let's bring that boom. Oh, we got the galaxy over here. Somebody's pregnant over here with the boom. All right. Whoa, guess where's Jersey Joe? Jersey Joe bringing the boom.
Does he say somebody's pregnant over here with the boom? Somebody's pregnant over here with the boom. Big Justice flipping bottles. They might all have autism. So it's the AJ and Big Justice show. I might start watching. I might want to be a part of it. That's my new goal. If I have any goal going forward, I want to continue to grow this show, and then I want to do more shows, and I want to get on the AJ and Big Justice show, and I want to pay my respects. I want to pay my listen. I want to pay my respects to the AJ and Big Justice show. You come on here on the social media and you take over like it's nobody's business. I'm at a loss for words. What are you doing out there right now? Watching me, watching them. Let's get some fucking money, baby. Let's get some money and let's bring the fucking boom. That's what I'm talking about, man. Really great stuff. Really, really great stuff. I can't get enough of them, and I'm really so glad. I'm really so glad that that's out there. You know. So we're here on November 8th. The election has passed. Donald Trump won in a landslide. Kind of unpredictable. On the day after I voted, I was sitting around. I was like, I can't really gauge where this is going to go. This is a very intense election this year. And the reason why I couldn't gauge where it was going to go is because that's what the media fed the public. The media fed the narrative that this was going to be the closest election of our lifetime, when in fact, this might be the biggest blowout of my lifetime that I'll ever see in a presidential election. It's the complete opposite. That fact doesn't surprise me. That, oh, they were wrong again. I won't even call it lying because, it's not lying if, they can sit there and say, oh, we just predicted wrong. They thought it was going to be tight. Some said it was going to be the flip of a coin, 50-50. No. I mean, we knew he was going to win by like 9 o'clock at night. It was like looking really, he was running away with it. I mean, the amount of votes he was getting in just was incredible. And, here's the day after was just very unfortunate because you have a lot of people who don't like him just spewing the same shit that we've been hearing since 2016. Like, listen, it's 2024 now, and you're still talking about things from 2016 that are no longer relevant, A, and B, they were never true to begin with. I mean, you have people talking about like collusion with Russia still. And this whole Harris campaign has completely torn apart the fabric of what is real and what is not when it comes to the Trump campaign itself. The Harris campaign ran on nothing. I mean, even I tried to give it I'm like, let me give her a shot, see what she has to say. Maybe she has something good to say. And in every single turn, every single interview that she had or rally that she had where she spoke, nothing made sense at all. I mean, we all know this. She'd sit there, she'd get on stage and she'd go, we have to live in the context of now because tomorrow is tomorrow, but yesterday will be today. And right now, it's important to know the context of where we are in this situation right now before we forget too soon about the day before. Everyone's looking at each other like, do we clap now? Like, I guess, like, what the fuck are you talking about, lady? She's the queen of word salad. It's amazing. It was very impressive, actually. That fact is impressive. The fact that she can get up there and say nothing and have people support her for that. But there was no policy. The tax thing, like, people look at her tax code, it's better. Like, great. Like, oh, okay, but, like, she doesn't know what the fuck that is. Like, I can tell by the way that she displays herself that she didn't work on that. Like, she doesn't know how this works. What is what? She clearly was not the one. My tax plan is going to work better. Like, are you sure? Are you sure? Like, what economists said? Like, of course they, like, yeah, you pay whichever one you want to have the fucking, that likes you. Like, you pay them. It's a bunch of malarkey. But there's this thin line that just needs to be broken. It's, look, to sit around right now, if you're sitting around and you're thinking to yourself, how could Donald Trump be president? He's a misogynist, racist. I've seen people calling him like everything now. Sometimes on my feed, just like, how could he win? He's a dictator. He's Hitler. He wants to be, like, rule with an iron fist. Hey, this is not true. Like, you gotta be real with yourself and wake up and be objective for once and look at the real picture. Look at the grand. You even have this is what we're talking about, where this is why he won, because people, 71 million people plus, are understanding that the media companies are lying, and they're just throwing out whatever narrative, and I feel bad for those who scoop it up. Not saying Donald Trump is some perfectly spoken person and everything he says is perfect, but you watch him enough, and he's been around forever. He's had such a career in business, in media, and now as a presidency in politics. Like, if this guy was a real racist, like, if he was truly a racist person, like, don't you think after all these years, before I was even alive, people would have caught on to this or something? That he was such a misogynist? Like, of course, he slept with a lot of women. Like, he was a fucking billionaire. Like, what do you think Bezos is? What do you think these guys are doing? You think Bill Gates is just slithering around? And, like, no, he's fucking. Are you kidding me? These guys are fucking, man. So, like, let's be real. Like, Bill Clinton did it in the White House. Like, not saying, like, that's right. It's not, I don't agree with those actions, but that's what happened. Like, before he had any ambition to be the president of the United States. And so you gotta stop with the whole he's a Nazi thing, he's this, he's that. He's just not. He's just like he's at MSG, and they're comparing side by side him, like his rally, and then like the Nazis that were there at MSG in like the 30s. I'm like, hey man, what the fuck are you doing? Like, do you realize, like, for people who aren't registering what you're trying to do to us, which is divide and conquer and stir up shit, like that's like very scary to them, because but they don't see past the fact that you're fucking with us, and it's complete bullshit, and it's false, and you're lying. Like, how could you compare those two things? Like, there's people from every race, color, and creed at the Trump rally at MSG. And then you have people walking in cloaks at MSG in the 30s, which is like, I don't know who the fuck let that happen in the great state of New York. Like, what? Like, how did that happen in the 30s? That's, not too long ago. And honestly, it's the blink of an eye, relative to the history of fucking time. But enough is enough. And then, unfortunately, after he wins, they double down. How could he win? He tried to incite an insurrection. Here's the fact about what happened on January 6th. He posted a video on Twitter on January 6th saying, because he knew people were coming to protest, of course he was saying that the election was stolen, it was illegitimate, but he never incited a riot. He never said we need to go there to the Capitol and take over. He put out a video on January 6th saying, we need peaceful protest. He says what happened was wrong. This election was stolen, but we have to be peaceful. We can't play into the hands of them. That's exactly what they want. And what do we know now? Okay, so that's what he said. And what do we know now? We know now that the FBI, or whatever three-letter agency, they took down that video on Twitter. They kicked him, and they deplatformed a sitting president. They took off a sitting president from a social media outlet, which was his main means of communicating with the country. You don't censor people. Some people think that's okay. Like, sit down for a second and think to yourself, imagine you were on Twitter and you're trying to get your point across about something, and then Twitter bans you. And it says that what you're saying is wrong, it's misinformation, and it's hate speech, anything. That is an impingement on your freedom of speech. Freedom of speech also, it's for everything. It's for everything. Now, that doesn't mean you can go on X now and put up Nazi signs and say, like, you want to kill a certain group of people. You'll get kicked off for that. That's hate speech. But if you want to go on Twitter or X and say, 9/11 was an inside job, you shouldn't get banned for saying that. Because if you think it's wrong, then debate the person if you think it's wrong. But if you think it's wrong, you just have to move on because people have their opinions. So, of all the people they could deplatform, they deplatformed the sitting president of the United States at that time. Let that sink in. Like how wrong that is. They took him off everything. Like that's not the way to go about this. And what he even posted wasn't bad. He said we need peaceful protest. If you want to come, but keep it peaceful. And what we know now is there's documents for this. There was clearly what's known as agent provocateurs at the rallies. What are agent provocateurs? They've been around forever, before maybe this country was even founded. When people are protesting in the streets, the powers that be, whether it be the government or maybe, like let's say you work for a garbage company, like you're a garbage man, okay, and you're protesting because you need better pay, and everybody's there. No one's picking up trash. All your coworkers are there. Everybody's protesting. You might have, the owner of the garbage company saying, "You know what? I can't have this. I don't want to make a deal with them. I'm going to send in some people. I'm going to hire people. I'm going to pay them to go over there and intentionally make the protests go violent. Start breaking cars, damaging storefronts, lighting fires, this, that, and the other." And you'll have some people in the crowd start to join in on that. And what that does is delegitimize the protests. Now it looks like riots. And now you can call the police. Police will come in, clean it up, and now your peaceful protest for a good cause looks like something much, much worse. It's a slippery slope. It is very obvious that those people were at the Capitol. There's a clear video of a man standing there. He just doesn't look. He's wearing like a ball cap. He looks like he's undercover. He looks like a fucking narc. If anybody with a brain that like with some street smarts knows what like an undercover cop looks like from time to time. Guy's sitting there in his ball cap, like glasses, I think, whatever. People are peacefully protesting, like, they're doing a chant. They're all just stationary, holding signs and stuff. And the guy's in the center and he goes, "We need to go inside. We got to go in there." And everybody around him is looking at him and people are literally saying, like, "What the fuck are you talking about? No." Like, what? No, that's not what we're doing. That's what they want us to do. That's what people are saying around this guy. He's fucking standing there. "We need to go in there. We have to go in there." Everyone's like, "No." But they had enough of them there that I'm sure it stirred up something. But here's the other thing, too, from that day. There's footage of the Capitol Police the main guy, it seemed like he was running the thing, with the painted face, and he had like the helmet on, whatever, and looked like a Viking. Like, they have footage. They were walking him through. Like, they let him in, they walked him through all this stuff, and it's like, something about this isn't sitting right. Something about this isn't sitting right at all. And then the next thing I'll add is that this is also true. Trump called Nancy Pelosi and said, "You can send the National Guard. Send the National Guard to protect the Capitol in case the riots go wrong." And she said no. She said no. And how do we know this? Because there's a video from her daughter's phone that you can find on the web where she's sitting in the car. They're both sitting in the car, and Nancy says, she goes, "I regret not sending the National Guard. I should have did it when he asked." So, with all this information, like, do with it as you may, but enough is enough. We had 4 years of this guy Everything that everybody said that was gonna happen didn't happen. None of that shit happened. He didn't try to be a dictator. Like, whoa, like look at that. Everyone's like, what is he gonna do with the nuclear codes? Like, nothing. Actually, there was no wars. He was the first president to go into North Korea and cross that line. Next thing you know, that's over. When he stepped into office, President Obama said, the biggest issue right now is North Korea. And he squashed it. And he actually went over there. And the Abraham Accords is the most beautiful thing there is. And look where the Middle East is now, unfortunately. But he, again, went over there, sat down with both sides, United Arab Emirates, Israel, other parties, Iran, and they all signed a deal and shook hands and smiled in a photo op. And the region was the most peaceful it's been maybe like ever in recent history and like in modern times. There was absolutely nothing going on. And the truth is, because he says it all the time, he goes, Iran was broke. They were broke. They were having no. It's true. It's true. And what happens when the Biden administration gets in office? They're funding the Taliban. The group of people that we've been going to war with for so long now, like there are 20 years, 30 years that war, fighting the Taliban, fighting terrorism. We're funding them. I can't say for sure if they're still doing it now, but like over the summer, this was a huge breaking news, especially from the Sean Ryan show, that you don't hear the mainstream media talking about that because they can't. The mainstream media can't say anything they want to say. All those people are just talking heads with a hand up their ass going like this. Those people don't have real opinions of their own. And if they did, they can't share them. So that makes them nothing. That makes them absolutely nobodies. Because if you are somebody with an opinion that does not share an opinion for the implications of money, then you're a sellout. You're just a complete sellout. Nobody will ever be able to come to me and tell me, say this, say that, say this, and I'll give you money, but you can't say this, this, this. Fuck you. I'm going to say whatever I want to say, and even if I'm wrong, I'll double back and I'll correct and I'll say I was wrong and I'm sorry. But they'll never do that. They'll never do that. They pushed Russia for 3 years on this guy of his presidency. And guess what? Turned out the whole thing was completely made up. The entire thing was completely made up. This is not like a maybe it was, maybe it wasn't. Like, no. Look it up. It was all fabricated. It was wrong. Completely, 100%. He has no ties to them at all. And you don't hear anybody in that on those fucking desks on whatever, media it is, CNN, MSNBC, sitting there saying, you know what? We're sorry about that we lied to you guys for 3 years. And we caused all this commotion. Maybe this guy isn't as bad as we thought. No. The reason why they can't speak bad about Donald Trump is because he's a threat to them. Maybe not them directly, but the people who are really in power, the owners of these media companies, all this stuff, he's a rogue person. You can't buy him. You cannot buy him. Unfortunately, Harris, if you tell her, do this, do that, do this, do that, we'll give you this, that, and the third, but you can't do this, 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 that's her whole career. She's never won anything. District Attorney of California, she did an awful job. She was terrible for those communities over there. And I don't think she actually had to run for that position. I think that's just something that you get picked. So she never won that. Legit, like she never was in a race for that. She ran in 2020 and she couldn't even get to Iowa. Everybody knows that. She didn't even make it to Iowa. She had 0 votes. 0. Like nobody and she plummeted, and Tulsi Gabbard absolutely ripped her apart. And that's the other thing. It's like, look alive, man. Look alive. Tulsi Gabbard, RFK Jr. are in President Trump's cabinet. Lifelong Democrats. Huge Democrat ideals. And they had to leave their party because this is not what they recognize anymore. It's like they completely switched. Because in early 2000 with Bush and Cheney, they were warmongers and big, I don't know, fucking, they just war. That was the biggest thing, is the wars. And Cheney clearly was, he owns Halliburton, and they went over there and they made everything from the fucking weapons to the food halls to the food that these people are eating, and they made billions and 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 billions of dollars. Lots of dollars and billions of bombs. Like, yeah. And it seems like, so then the Democrats were the party of, let's stop that shit. But now it's completely flipped. But it's flipped differently this time. And the reason why it's different is because this man, Trump, came in and he fucked up the party. Maybe both sides, honestly, were having a party, saying we could do whatever we want, whether it's you or this side or that side. We're doing wars, big fucking money, big business, whatever the fuck. We're running this shit. And this guy came in and said, I think I could do this president thing, and you guys can't tell me what to do, and I actually am a good person. Like, has it ever crossed anybody's mind that he's not a fucking monster? Like, he's been around for so long now. He has, like, these rape allegations, but I try to look into them, and I can't get, like, a clear article on, like, what occurred. They're all inconclusive, and it's very strange. I mean, there's plenty of stories of people being accused of rape or even just mistreatment in some way, and it turned out that the woman was lying. Now, I'm not saying that's what happened, but it's very possible that it could. Perfect example is the pitcher, Trevor Bauer. Fucking absolute beast. He was in the MLB, pitcher for the Dodgers, and he got kicked out of the MLB because a woman came along and said he abused me. And it turned out that she was lying. The whole thing was a lie. They went to court and everything. And now this guy still isn't in the MLB. He's pitching for Team Mexico. Or whatever. He's pitching in Mexico for, like, the Mexican baseball. And he's going absolutely insane, doing great. Which is, like, good for him. He's still playing ball, doing his thing, finding a way. But, like, I hope a team signs him this year. But, like, look what that did to this guy's life. He was the top pitcher in the league. And he's lost all this money, all this publicity. A lot of people don't know the truth of the story still. And it's like nobody comes out and says we're sorry. The MLB doesn't come out and say we're sorry. It's infuriating. But kudos to him for just living his life. But there's a lot of just lying. I mean, even Obama lied recently at whatever sort of rally he's doing to support Harris. He brings up there's fine people on both sides hoax, what Trump said. Trump was talking about the protest a while ago when people were tearing down statues of, like, Robert E. Lee and shit, whatever, like, Civil War, Confederate, people. You had one side that said, like, this is bad history, we should tear it down. And you had the other side that said, look, like, yeah, it might be bad, but, like, we can't just tear down statues of people, like, they were trying to make an argument that, that history's history and we have to live with our history, and you don't just tear down statues. This is a piece of history of our country. And Trump said, he was talking about it to the press and whatever at a thing, and he said there's very fine people on both sides. He said there's very fine people on both sides, and I'm not referring to the KKK and like the white nationalists. They're not good and they need to be condemned. That's what he said word for word. But then all the media takes is there's very fine people on both sides. and then they sit at their desk in front of the camera and they go, President Trump said there's very fine people on both sides, telling their viewers that he thinks that the white supremacists and KKK are fine people. No. Play the rest of the fucking video. And that's what people are catching on to, because you'd think they're smarter. You'd think they're smart enough to realize, like, there's something called YouTube and X, like, for people to watch the full clips of actually what was said. And then to have Obama, a former president that a lot of people adored, go on stage and reinforce that lie is disgusting. And it's very unfortunate. And they wonder why it was a fucking landslide. Because we're being lied to day after day about what this guy says. A lot of what he says gets taken, misconstrued. Another one is the bloodbath one. He said it's going to be a bloodbath. He said something about a bloodbath. He was talking about the automotive industry. And he was talking at a rally and he was saying, if I lose our manufacturing goes overseas to Mexico, where China's building a plant, they're going to take their cars and they're going to ship them from Mexico into America, and it's going to be a bloodbath. Financially, economically, the automotive industry, they're going to lose. It's going to be a bloodbath. And he said, if I lose, it's going to be a bloodbath in the automotive industry. And they took the clip, if I lose, it's going to be a bloodbath. Again, sit in front of the desk with their dumb, lying faces, and they go, President Trump said if he loses, it's going to be a bloodbath. And he's going to have riots and blah, 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 and this is why he's not. No, that's not what he said. He was talking about this. So I think along the way, he's starting to get better at, like, when he says something, he, like, quickly reinforces it with something else, so that it's much harder to clip and misconstrue. But they've been doing this since he actually had a shot at winning. Last thing I'll add here. This is a great one. It was talked about on the Rogan show, which is, it's so true. I think this was early 2016 when he decided he was going to run for president. I think this is maybe even like before the primaries and stuff. He went on The View. We all know how The View thinks of him. They absolutely hate him, and they call him all the most ridiculous things in the world. He went on The View, and they loved him. He walks out there. They're giving him hugs, kissing him on the cheek, telling him, oh, my gosh, like, well, are you going to run? Like, what is this going to be like? We're so excited for you. Like, this is great. They loved him. But once it started to look like, hey, this guy's gaining traction and might look like he's going to win, whoever's up there at that fucking media company, just think of a tall-ass building, the fucking view's somewhere in the middle, a bunch of fucking bullshit. There's somebody sitting at the top of there, feet up on the desk saying, we can't have this guy. This guy's a threat to what I got going on here. Start fucking slandering him. I don't care how ridiculous. We've gotten so delusional to the point where it's like, hey, man, 70 million plus people are starting to wake up to the fact that you are fucking with us and you're lying out of your ass. So, this is clearly the election special episode, and just got to get all that out of there because that's the state right now. And there's a lot to look forward to now. There's so much to look forward to. The market's already fucking booming. It's the craziest bull run I've ever seen. I haven't seen a lot. I haven't been a part of a lot. Now I'm a part of it. Great. Fantastic. But I just look forward to, like, the things that I care about a lot that, like, nobody's talking about. The fact that you have Robert Kennedy Jr. in there, which if he had a more potent campaign, I probably would have voted for him instead. But regardless, there he is, because that's called bipartisanship, and that's called making a deal and working together. When was the last time anyone else has done that? Yeah, I can't recall either. So you got RFK in there, and he's going to take on, the FDA, the Food Administrations, all those gangs of people. I mean, you have a fantastic message from him that was just so powerful that I got to read out here. And he said, FDA's war on public health is about to end. This includes its aggressive suppression of psychedelics, peptides, stem cells, raw milk, hyperbaric therapies, cleating compounds? Cleaning compounds? I hope I'm not an idiot. Ivermectin, hydroxychloroquine, vitamins, clean foods, sunshine, exercise, See, I don't even know what the hell this guy's talking about. Something nutrient, and everything else that advances human health and can be patented by pharma. If you work for the FDA and are part of this corrupt system, I have two messages for you. One, preserve your records, and two, pack your bags. Guys dropping absolute nutsack on everybody right there. And he's the guy that can do it. Environmental lawyer, cleaned up the Hudson River, has a really rich history in that sector of environmental law. Unfortunately, he won't have as much as an impact on environmental law, actually. But I mean, look, environmental law, in my opinion, does stem to us. Us, because the way that we produce agriculture is atrocious. Monocrop agriculture is awful for the land, and we're just raping and pillaging our land, honestly, to the point where it won't be reusable in the future, and then we have a real problem, and then we have to start eating lab-grown meats and fucking bugs, which is what they want you, which is what, they want you to do. They want you to shut up and stop eating steaks, and they want you to eat ants and mosquitoes. Right. Anyway. So he's going to go in there and he's going to dismantle a lot of the shit. I mean, the health epidemic in this country is atrocious. And it's not talked about at all. It should be the first thing talked about. How is it not even a discussion on the presidential stage? How is that not a topic? Ms. Harris, President Trump, Vice President Harris, President Trump, the health epidemic in our country has gotten way out of control, and then you can spew out all the facts that we're like fatter than ever, the obesity levels are out of this world, autism rates are out of this world. Well, maybe not we can't say that. I mean, that's a different thing. But the obesity, the chronic disease epidemic that this country's going through, the heart disease that people are dying from, what is going on here and how can we fix it? That's a huge issue that should be on the forefront of everybody's mind. But it's not. It's not, because for some reason nobody seems to care about themselves. Everybody likes to care about things outside and what everybody else is thinking and doing. You should care about what's in your food. You should care about when you open up a fucking Kind bar that, I don't know, is this actually good for me? Like, is this bar with chocolate and nuts like actually good for me? It looks like it's like held together by glue. Like, is this good for me? Like, no, it's not good for you. So the biggest thing he's going to do is, he said very soon, RFK said very soon, like day 20 or something, very specific day, he said he's going to ban fluoride in our water systems. Make fluoride illegal. It shouldn't be. It shouldn't be in the water. They put it in there because to help with teeth decay. But fluoride, we now know, causes a lot of other issues. It causes a lowering of the IQ, amongst a lot of other things that I'm forgetting right now. But fluoride has awful side effects. Get that out. Get it out of the water. That's an environmental thing. This thing he could do that. He can get it done very fast. Seed oils in the food, canola oil, palm oil, vegetable oil. Get it out. You can't use this shit anymore. It's killing us. It is absolutely killing us. We can't be having these over-processed foods and oils in our food, in our snacks, in our everything. It's everywhere. It's almost impossible to avoid. It's almost impossible. I mean, when I go food shopping and I get food, if I want to get a bag of granola, I can only find like one brand that doesn't use the seed oils. Same thing with peanut butter. It'll have palm oil. And I'm like, can I just get a fucking peanut butter that has peanuts and salt? Like, that's all it needs. Peanuts and salt, peanut butter. There you go. Done deal. It causes a shit ton of metabolic issues. It's just not meant to be in our body. When the cells don't function and they're getting poor nutrition, you're gonna start having a world of issues. And specifically with these seed oils, they just seem to be a lot more catastrophic on our health. I mean, when you look at a chart and it's charted from the 1950s to the current day, when seed oils were first introduced, it's a clear path up to the obesity epidemic that we're experiencing in this country. I mean, it's like jaw dropping what these are doing. So I hope that he can get in there. Well, he is in there, and Trump said this is his job. He said make America healthy again, work on our health, and it's a beautiful thing. Like, how could nobody be? If you're sitting there and you're like, damn it, I really don't like Donald Trump, but like, I'm a Democrat, and Kennedy's a great environmental lawyer, and he's done all these things for the environment, and he wants to make us healthier, and he's going to take down all like these agencies that have been making us sick. Like, hello, don't you want to? Because it doesn't get covered. Like, it's one thing if CNN airs some segment and they're like, Donald Trump is fucking racist, this, that, and the other. Like, bullshit, lying. You're lying. But then they can't even turn the page and go, but Robert F. Kennedy Jr., at least he's in there and he's going to be doing some great work for our health in this country. And it's time that we get caught up with these other nations. How many times have you heard somebody go, oh, I went to Italy or France or something. I went to Europe and I ate all the bread and pasta in the world and I felt amazing. I didn't feel like I got hit by a brick wall. Yeah, all the time you hear that shit. Like, they don't have magic bread. We don't have it's not like we can't replicate it. We're just poisoning our food. We are completely poisoning our food. Like, how many people over there do you think have fucking celiac disease? Probably like none. Like, it's not a thing because there's pesticides and glyphosate on our produce. That's, that on the bread specifically, that's causing these issues for people that are having reactions to not bread. Okay, we've been eating bread forever. They're having a poor reaction to bread. You're having a poor reaction to what's sprayed on the bread. We buy glyphosate from Germany, and it's illegal there. We're buying something from them that they don't even use themselves. It's illegal. What does that tell you? So that's fantastic. Not to mention Tulsi Gabbard, lifelong Democrat congresswoman for the state of Hawaii. I mean, she had to flip over too. She said, this is not the party that I remember. They become the party of war. They become the party of censorship. And it's funny. It's so odd to see that sort of flip happen and everybody kind of wake up to the fact that what the hell is going on here? Everybody says like Trump, everything that the Democrats do, they accuse the other side of doing. It's the most hypocritical thing there is. And I'm neither here nor there. If they put up a good candidate, I will consider it. Like, if you ever put up a good candidate that I can maybe get, like Bernie Sanders, like I was able to get behind him, and they, he won the primary and they swept that from under him. And now Harris didn't even have a primary. So, like, again, she never won anything. Because if I guarantee you there was a primary like there's supposed to be, she would not have won that thing. She was the least liked vice president in history. She had like a 3% approval rating. Like, nobody liked her. And then once, they propped her up for president, they said, let's just gaslight the fuck out of everybody until they like this woman. And that's the result you get. 216 electoral votes or something and a fucking blowout. Because people can't take the lies anymore. She had no policy. You're running on joy. I don't know. So, hey, man. That's where we stand out now. This was the election special. And this was the Costco Boys special. Thank you for tuning in. Juice Boys Podcast. We'll be back next Tuesday, regular time, for the continuation of The Boys. Fantastic. Have a good night.